internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. I have been lying to you guys this whole time about $100 XRP. Why do I talk about $100 XRP? Why not any higher? Why not any lower? Why is it always 100, 100, 100? Because $100 is the focus point. There is no reason to entertain anything over $100 because you logically do not even need all that money. And some of you guys may sit there and say they're not going to let us all become rich. Absolutely not. Such a small percentage. And to all the ones that do not believe XRP is going to go to $100, you're going to learn the hard way. And that is by you didn't accumulate enough or you didn't buy any at all. But you're going to look at $100 very, very soon. We're going to go over some remarks that was made by Bob Weey. This information can only be found through the web archives. The website is no longer available. It used to be called XRP Chat. And back then, they used to talk about XRP and all the good stuff. And some of the individuals within Ripple internally were on here also communicating with the community. Remember, these were the early days where they were hands-on. And now it's all, they know exactly what's about to happen. They knew since day one after they bought, they brought everybody on board. My goodness. And I'm going to give you so much logic that, like I said, only the stupid will dispute. There is no reason to entertain about a 10,000 XRP, a $5,000 XRP, a $1,000 XRP. A lot of people are going to sell on the way to $100 regardless of this. You guys say you're not. Some of you guys will. However, there's only going to be a handful that's going to hold to $100 and beyond because it is infinite to values that we can actually see. Where should we begin? Let me cover Bob Weey and what he said first, because this one's going to have your jaw hitting the floor. Bob Weey. So there was a question asked. Let's get this out of the way. Internally at Ripple, how high do people think the price of XRP can get? And you guys know my opinion. There are maybe one or two people within Ripple that know exactly how high the value of XRP can get. My projection and my certainty, $100 XRP is going to happen 100% because logically it has to. Now that I reread the question, I see the part that says internally at Ripple. Several people left fancy jobs and joined Ripple because, I paraphrase, if we capture even a minor fraction of the international payments market, do you know the value XRP will need to have to support that? Do the math. Really, really big trade number. 100 billion XRP equals, wow, my goodness. Again, we don't just go based off of this thing saying this is why XRP is going to go to $100 because somebody at Ripple said so. No, we have done the math. And all the morons, now I'm getting triggered because it's like, it's math. And how can you dispute math and try to avoid it and say that it can't flip Bitcoin? It's going to flip Bitcoin. It's going to become the number one asset on CoinMarketCap. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, several people left fancy jobs and joined Ripple because, I paraphrase, if we capture even a minor fraction of the international payments market, do you know the value of XRP that needs to get to support that? Do the math. Really, really big trade number. 100 billion XRP equals wow. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how XRP logically and mathematically has to go to $100. And I'm not saying that as some moon boy fantasy. I'm saying that because if this system is actually going to function the way it's being engineered, then $100 XRP is just the starting point, not the peak. And for any of my new, subscribers that are joining my channel, growing together, Some of you guys may not know, I've actually worked in a regulated institution for 10 years, so I know exactly inside out how these guys operate since day one, how they maneuver. That's how we uncovered so much information before it even happened through all the digging that we did. This is not some, some BS. We're giving you institutionalized perspectives in terms of what the institutions will not tell you yet. They'll only tell you when they're ready, but they're already in the markets, okay? Because that's what we did when we did private banking. It's all. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, okay? But let me break this down. Very, very important for you guys to understand the importance of this. XRP, logically, $100, right? This is not a speculative hype coin. Please understand that. It is a bridge asset designed to move value across borders. And even like what Bob Weey said, right? Like, it's like, take a screenshot of this and maybe have it your background. It's moving value across borders between institutions, currencies, and markets that others don't pretty much speak the same financial language, but Ripple is here to help them. That means trillions of dollars every single day needing a neutral, liquid, and scalable asset to bridge the gap.
So when I talk about the $10 trillion that we're processing every night,
so here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day.
So now let's do the math, right? So we're going to just pick 100 billion because it's a round number and it's easier to do the calculations. XRP, and I'm going to put this slide up here just to kind of show you guys, you got to see it to believe it, because a lot of you guys say, everyone's going to become XRP rich, they're not going to make it happen. Absolutely not. Like, if you're just getting into the market right now, you need to cough up $20,000 to get 10,000 XRP. You got to cough up $40,000 to get, 20,000 XRP. And let's just say you cough up $61,000, you're just getting into this market right now, you're getting $3 million. That is absolutely nothing in terms of a government perspective, but that $61,000 to $3 million, it is, it's life-changing for a lot of people. You could do a lot of damage with that, right? So XRP has a total of 100 billion. But the actual circulating supply is closer to 50, 60 billion once you remove what's locked up, the burned, the lost, and everybody that's holding long term. So let's say conservatively 50 billion XRP are available to provide liquidity to a future financial system moving tens of trillions of dollars daily. And let's say the global cross-border payment volume hits 10 trillion, which isn't fantasy. It's based on the BIS Innovation Hub estimates of tokenized asset forecasts. It's going to get higher than that. When XRP handles just 10% of the daily volume, that's about $1 trillion in volume per day flowing through that asset. Now, here's where most people screw up this whole logic. They think XRP would just stay cheap while doing that. Wrong.
Having to fully reserve $10 trillion to be able to make those payments every day, that's a lot of liquidity that you're taking out of the system.
XRP isn't a one-time use coin, okay? It's a liquidity token. It gets reused. And yes, the higher the volume, the more value the system must absorb and settle at any given time. At any given time, you need deep liquidity pools. That's the most important thing. Just focus on that. You need deep liquidity pools. And deep liquidity means high market cap, because nobody wants slippage on $1 billion transaction. You need deep liquidity pools, ladies and gentlemen. And deep liquidity pools mean high market caps.
If you think about the number of different currencies and how much liquidity needs to be available to make those transactions, it becomes less and less efficient because there simply often isn't enough liquidity there. And when I say liquidity, what I mean is depth of the market. It means that if I want to now send, 100 Swiss francs, maybe I'll find 100 Swiss francs for pounds. Maybe I'll find a counterparty. But if I want to send 100 million, I may not find a counterparty. So there isn't enough liquidity, maybe, between Swiss francs and pounds for me to send $100 million every day. But there may be more liquidity if we pool all of our liquidity into one type of currency.
Now, the second one is more complicated. It has to do with liquidity. So imagine that you have a pair of currencies for which there is not a complementary demand. You need to go and search for a third-party currency in order to make this settlement actually happen. And this really complicates things. So we need to put pieces of technology that can make more efficiency this use of liquidity so that more transactions can be settled.
Have this pre-funding, and instead you can use a digital asset to have global liquidity on demand.
Let's say we need 500 billion worth of XRP available at all times to ensure institutions can settle fast without any price disruption. Counter that in. Divide that 5 billion actively circulating XRP that institutions can, tap into after removing all the retail holders. That's like, $100 XRP, and that's just to function at a liquidity level we're headed towards. It's not moon math, it's utility math. And when we factor in tokenization of real world assets, derivatives, stablecoin flows like RLUSD, using XRP as a settlement and liquidity layer, this becomes unavoidable. It's not if, it's when. And we're going to see that all occur within the next 12 months and then scale into 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029 onwards. So next time somebody tells you $100 XRP is delusional, just move, just stop talking to them. It doesn't matter. There's no point of talking to them. $100 XRP is the floor price once this thing starts running. And anyone still laughing at that number, they're either broke, uninformed, or still trying to justify and cope around their Bitcoin bags. Because at the end of the day, we very well know XRP isn't here to play with retail. It is here to run the plumbing of the new financial system. So with that being said, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but Ripple's website is just absolutely insane in terms of, did I actually close that? I did. I got to go find that again. However, no, it is right here. The fact that they're even putting this on their website, XRPL's origin provide a better alternative to Bitcoin. I mean, that is just a huge middle finger to the air right there, because they all know, everybody knows. Listen, as much as it sounds crazy, I'm telling you right now, everybody behind the curtains knows exactly what Ripple and its digital asset XRP are set out to do. And we have been saying this for a very long time, but people didn't listen. But people are going to learn the hard way, but that is okay. Remember, only a small amount of individuals out here. Remember, I said, even if you own 30,000, 20,000, when it goes to $100, $2 million, that's still a lot of money. That's still a lot you could do with, right? But again, the percentage of holders even holding that much, remember, less than like 500,000. My goodness, I'm sorry, I lied. It's less than like 300,000 account balances, right? Like 300,000. That will be like wealthy. That will, get a good amount back at $100 XRP. But a lot of people are going to sell on the way up. So with that being said, we'll be back with another video.
They told us dream small, but we had the stars in mind. While they chased hype, we studied time. In the noise we found the signal. Brad knew just what to do. Now XRP hums like jazz, running smooth and true. Money's changing, systems bend. Ripple flow into the end. Truth is quiet, bold and deep. We salute the ones who lose no sleep. Salute to the minds that built this chain. Salute, salute through the trials, through the pain. Salute, salute to the calm, to the wise. Salute 100 in our eyes. Bitcoin maxis yell on stage, stuck in loops they call belief, while XRPL just clears the way. No delay, no grief. They hoard coins like dusty gold, but we got utility in every fold. The future ain't loud, it's steady breathing. Real ones know what's worth believing. It ain't hype, it's code and soul. We salute the ones who see the whole. Salute to the builders, to the flow. Salute, salute, where the real ones choose to go. Salute, salute, to the heart, to the plan. Salute, XRP will lead the land. Value don't lie, and truth don't shake. Let the whole world break, we remake. Strategic reserve, written in stars. XRP gonna take us far. So here's to the signal, clear and bright. To the dreamers who held on tight. No matter the storm, no matter the fight. Salute, we rise with the light.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.